I was 3 rounds into chemo when Amanda left. The woman who promised to stay through sickness and health packed her bags while I was vomiting from treatment. Cancer took my hair, my strength, and apparently my girlfriend of 3 years. I woke up that morning body, aching to find her goodbye note on the nightstand. Later I discovered she ran back to her ex Jason. What I never expected was that after he betrayed her too, she would come crawling back to me looking for another chance. Let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like and subscribe button and stick around to hear how I handled someone who abandoned me at my lowest only to return when it was convenient. Our story began at a friend's housewarming party 3 years ago. The moment Amanda walked in with her infectious laugh and bright eyes, I felt drawn to her. We bonded over our shared love for indie music, hiking adventures, and cooking experiments. She worked in social media management for a fashion brand, bringing the same vibrant energy to her career as she did to our relationship. I was captivated by her enthusiasm for life and her ability to light up any room. After dating for a year, we decided to move in together. Our apartment became our sanctuary, filled with photos from our weekend trips, vintage concert posters, and the mismatched furniture we had carefully chosen together. We established our routines, our favorite takeout spots, and created traditions like Sunday morning pancakes and movie nights. Living with Amanda felt natural, like we had been doing it for years. I worked as a software engineer for a tech startup downtown, while Amanda climbed the corporate ladder at her company. We supported each other through career challenges and celebrated every promotion and success. Our friends called us the power couple, and we started planning our future together, talking about engagement rings and browsing home listings during our free time. We rarely argued, and when we did, we communicated openly and resolved issues quickly. Life seemed perfect until I started noticing changes in my body. It began with fatigue that sleep could not cure, a persistent exhaustion that followed me throughout the day. I blamed it on work stress and long hours at the office. Then came the unexplained weight loss, my clothes gradually becoming looser despite no changes in my diet or exercise routine. The defining moment came during a shower one evening when I felt a lump under my arm. Alarmingly firm and painless, it sent a chill through my body that had nothing to do with the water temperature. I called my doctor the next morning and was scheduled for an appointment that week. What followed was a blur of medical appointments, blood tests, scans, and finally a biopsy. Amanda held my hand through each visit, reassuring me that everything would be fine. But sitting in the sterile office of an oncologist, the words "Stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma" shattered our carefully constructed world. The diagnosis hit us like a physical blow. Amanda cried more than I did at first. I was still processing, feeling strangely detached, as the doctor explained treatment options and survival rates. While my body sat in that office, my mind was elsewhere, wondering how this could happen to me at 32 years old. I remember one thing clearly from that day: Amanda squeezing my hand and saying, "We will fight this together, Dante. I am not going anywhere." Her eyes were red but determined, and I believed her. That promise became my anchor as we left the hospital, a foundation I thought I could rely on for the difficult journey ahead. Amanda immersed herself in research, joining online forums for partners of cancer patients, taking notes during doctor appointments, and asking insightful questions. She rearranged our apartment to make it more comfortable for me during treatment, and stocked the fridge with healthy foods recommended for cancer patients. Her support gave me hope that despite the diagnosis, I was lucky to have someone so devoted by my side. I informed my company about my diagnosis, and they were surprisingly supportive, allowing me to work remotely when possible and take medical leave when necessary. We reviewed our finances, insurance coverage, and began preparing for the long road ahead. Neither of us could have predicted how challenging that road would become, or that Amanda would choose not to walk it with me until the end. The first day of chemotherapy remains vivid in my memory. I sat in a recliner surrounded by other patients in various stages of treatment, some reading books, others sleeping, all connected to IV poles dripping medicine that was simultaneously poison and salvation. Amanda sat beside me, holding my hand, bringing snacks and distractions for the 4-hour session. The nurses were kind, explaining each medication they administered, warning about side effects while maintaining an encouraging demeanor. Those side effects hit hard the very same night. I barely made it to the bathroom before violent nausea overtook me. Amanda held a cool washcloth to my forehead and helped me back to bed when I had nothing left to give. That first week was a brutal introduction to what my life would become. Constant nausea bone, deep fatigue, and a metallic taste that made everything unpalatable. My hair began falling out in clumps 2 weeks later. Rather than watching it disappear gradually, Amanda suggested we shave it off. She turned it into a ceremony of sorts, taking photos before making the first cut herself, then letting me finish the job. She told me I looked handsome, rubbing my smooth head and kissing my forehead. In those early days, her care seemed limitless. As the weeks passed, treatment intensified. I had to take a full medical leave from work when the fatigue became too overwhelming to focus on code. Our savings and my insurance became our lifeline. Amanda continued working but adjusted her schedule to accommodate my appointments. She prepared bland foods that I might be able to keep down and cleaned up without complaint when I could not make it to the bathroom in time. I felt simultaneously grateful and guilty for the burden my illness placed on her. Around the 2-month mark, subtle changes began to appear in Amanda. The transformation was gradual, almost imperceptible at first. She started staying later at the office, citing important projects that needed her attention. Her previously constant text messages checking on me throughout the day became less frequent. When she did come home, she spent more time on her phone, often stepping into another room to take calls. Physical intimacy had naturally decreased due to my condition, but even simple affection, like hand-holding or cuddling, while watching television became rare. When I mentioned it, Amanda explained that she was afraid of hurting me or making me more tired. I accepted her explanation, believing she was just trying to be considerate, though a nagging doubt began forming in the back of my mind. I noticed her growing distance, but rationalized it. Cancer is difficult not only for the patient, but also for caregivers. I told myself she was experiencing caregiver fatigue, that she needed space to process her own emotions about my diagnosis. I encouraged her to spend time with friends and take care of herself, thinking it would help restore her energy. In reality, I was unwittingly giving her permission to slip further away. Then came the mention of Jason. His name appeared casually in conversation one evening as Amanda described a company event. "You will never guess who I ran into today," she said, stirring her dinner without making eye contact. "Jason Stevens. He is running his own marketing firm now." Jason had been her boyfriend for 2 years before we met. They had broken up when he moved across the country for a job opportunity. According to Amanda, the relationship had ended amicably due to distance, not because of any incompatibility or wrongdoing. I had never felt threatened by her past with him until that moment when something in her voice changed while saying his name. Over the following weeks, Jason appeared in more conversations. He had apparently moved back to the city and was working with some of the same clients as Amanda Company. They had professional reasons to connect, she explained. When I noticed her texting late at night and asked about it, she said it was work-related. I wanted to believe her, but doubt continued growing. My suspicions were confirmed when I borrowed her tablet to watch a movie during a particularly rough day. A notification appeared from Jason, and against my better judgment, I opened it. The message read, "Last night was amazing. I have missed you so much these past years. When can I see you again?" My heart sank as I scrolled through their conversation history, revealing weeks of increasing intimacy and plans that had nothing to do with work. I was too weak from my latest treatment to confront her immediately. Part of me wanted to pretend I had never seen the messages to preserve what little stability remained in my life. But the truth festered inside me as I lay in bed that night. Amanda sleeping soundly beside me as if she had not betrayed every promise we had made. The breaking point came after a particularly brutal round of chemotherapy. The doctors had adjusted my treatment protocol, increasing the dosage to combat resistant cancer cells. The side effects hit harder than ever before. I spent the night cycling between violent vomiting and chills, so severe my teeth chattered. Amanda helped bringing water and medications, but her irritation was palpable. She sighed heavily when I called for assistance, checked her phone constantly, and finally fell asleep on the couch instead of beside me. When I woke the next morning, still weak and dizzy, I found the note on the bedside table. Her handwriting, usually flowing and artistic, appeared rushed. Dante, I am sorry, but I cannot do this anymore. This situation is too much for me to handle. I need space and time to think about what I want for my future. I will be moving my things out today while you are resting. Please do not try to contact me for a while. Take care of yourself. Amanda. No mention of where she was going, though I already knew. No acknowledgement of breaking her promise to stay by my side. Just a coward goodbye while I was too weak to even stand up and ask her to stay. I called her repeatedly, each call going straight to voicemail. I texted until my fingers hurt, receiving no response. Finally, I called my friend Marcus in desperation. Marcus arrived within an hour, finding me attempting to dress myself while barely able to stand. He helped me back to bed and sat beside me, his expression revealing he knew more than I initially thought. How long have you known? I asked him, my voice hoarse from vomiting and emotion. Marcus looked down, uncomfortable with his role as messenger. About 2 weeks. She and Jason have been seen together around town. I wanted to tell you, man, but everyone thought the stress would make your condition worse. The betrayal cut even deeper, knowing my friends had hidden the truth from me, however well-intentioned their silence had been. Amanda had not only abandoned me, but had been building her exit strategy for weeks, perhaps months, while I fought for my life. The woman who had promised to stand by me had instead chosen to return to an old flame rather than weather this storm together. That night, alone in the apartment that still held all the evidence of our shared life, I reached the lowest point of my journey. The physical pain of cancer, combined with the emotional devastation of betrayal, left me wondering if fighting was even worth it anymore. But somehow, as the sun rose the next morning, so did a fragile determination to survive, if only to prove that she had not broken me completely. The following weeks were a lesson in humility and gratitude. My sister Jasmine flew in from Chicago to help care for me, taking family leave from her job as an elementary school teacher. Marcus organized a rotation of friends to drive me to treatments, bring groceries, and simply sit with me so I would not be alone. Colleagues from work sent care packages and messages of encouragement. The community that formed around me revealed the stark contrast between those who stay during difficult times and those who flee. My oncology team noticed the change in my support system and expressed concern about my emotional well-being. The lead doctor pulled me aside during an appointment and spoke frankly. Depression can negatively impact treatment outcomes, Dante. What happened with your partner is unfortunately common in cancer cases, but you cannot let it derail your recovery. I want you to consider speaking with our staff psychologist. Initially resistant, I eventually agreed to join both individual therapy and a support group for cancer patients. Sitting in a circle with others facing mortality, I found unexpected comfort. Some had partners who stayed, others who left. Many were navigating cancer alone due to various circumstances. Their stories helped me understand that my situation, while painful, was not unique, and that healing emotional wounds was as crucial as treating the cancer itself. Despite my best efforts to focus solely on recovery, news about Amanda and Jason filtered through to me. Social media, though I tried to avoid it, became a window into their new life together. Friends would occasionally mention sightings or updates, usually followed by awkward silence when they realized what they had shared. The images and stories painted a picture of apparent happiness. Weekend trips to wine country, backstage passes at concerts, dinner at exclusive restaurants. Jason, a successful entrepreneur, seemed to be showing Amanda a life of luxury I could never have provided even before my diagnosis. In photos, she looked carefree, as if the woman who had spent months helping me through cancer treatments was a different person entirely. I forced myself to stop looking at their social media, asking friends not to update me on their activities. Focusing on their apparent happiness only hindered my healing, both physical and emotional. Instead, I channeled my energy into following treatment protocols, precisely attending every therapy session, and gradually rebuilding my strength through gentle exercise when possible. 6 months into treatment, I received the first genuinely positive news since my diagnosis. The tumors had shrunk significantly. Blood counts were improving, and my body was responding well to the adjusted medication protocol. My oncologist could not hide her smile as she shared the scan results. "This is exactly what we were hoping to see, Dante. If you continue responding this way, we might be able to reduce your treatment intensity in the coming months. You are not out of the woods yet, but you are on the right path." That night I cried for the first time since Amanda left, not from sadness but from overwhelming relief. The possibility of survival, of a future beyond hospital rooms and medication schedules, suddenly seemed real again. The fear that had been my constant companion began to loosen its grip. With renewed hope, I started taking small steps toward reclaiming my life. My company allowed me to work remotely part-time on projects that would not overwhelm me. The intellectual stimulation provided welcome distraction from treatment side effects and helped restore my sense of purpose and identity beyond being a cancer patient. Physical recovery came more slowly. Walking to the end of the block left me winded at first, but each day I pushed a little further, marking progress in a journal Jasmine had given me. The simple act of documenting small victories, from climbing a flight of stairs without stopping to cooking a meal without assistance, became a powerful reminder of my resilience. As my strength returned, I discovered a desire to give back to the cancer community that had supported me. I began volunteering at the hospital when my health permitted, talking with newly diagnosed patients, sharing resources, and offering the understanding that only comes from personal experience. In helping others navigate their fear and uncertainty, I found purpose in my suffering. 8 months after Amanda walked out, Marcus called with news that he delivered with uncharacteristic hesitation. "I thought you should hear this from a friend rather than through the grapevine," he began, his voice careful. "Jason has been cheating on Amanda. Apparently he has been seeing his assistant for months. She just found out." "How did you hear about this?" I asked, surprised by my own neutral reaction. "Sarah from accounting is friends with someone at Jason Company. The assistant is pregnant, and it is definitely his. There is more, though. Jason is having financial problems. All those fancy trips and restaurants. He has been putting everything on credit to maintain appearances. His business is struggling." I absorbed this information, silently unsure how to feel. There was no satisfaction in knowing Amanda had been betrayed, as she had betrayed me. Instead, I felt a strange emptiness, as if the news concerned characters in a movie rather than people who had caused me immense pain. Later that week, Amanda made her suffering public through social media posts that friends screenshot and sent to me. Angry rants about betrayal and deception, vague references to having made mistakes in the past, declarations about karma and cosmic justice. She had discovered that the relationship built on betrayal had itself been founded on lies. The call came on a Tuesday morning, 9 months after Amanda had walked out of my life. Her name on my phone screen sent a jolt through me, momentarily transporting me back to the depths of illness and abandonment. My finger hovered over the decline button before curiosity won out. "Dante," her voice was small, tentative, nothing like the confident woman I had known. "Can we talk? Please, I need to see you. To explain things. To apologize." The sound of tears in her voice did nothing to move me. "Please, just coffee. In public. Wherever you want." I consulted with Marcus and Jasmine before agreeing. Both cautioned me against reopening old wounds, but acknowledged that closure might help me fully move forward. We arranged to meet at a cafe near my apartment, a place we had never frequented together, neutral ground, without shared memories. She was already seated when I arrived, fidgeting with a napkin, her appearance striking in its contrast to the Amanda of social media posts. Her designer clothes had been replaced with simple jeans and a sweater. Her previously immaculate makeup was minimal, her hair pulled back without styling. Most noticeably, the spark that had once animated her features had dimmed considerably. "Thank you for coming," she said, straightening as I took the seat across from her. Her eyes widened slightly as she took in my appearance. "You look good, Dante. Healthy." "I am healthy," I confirmed, seeing no reason to ease into the conversation. My last scan showed no evidence of disease. Monthly monitoring for the next year, then, every 3 months. Good prognosis for full recovery. Tears filled her eyes, though whether from genuine happiness for my health or regret for her choices I could not determine. "I am so glad. You deserve that good news." We sat in uncomfortable silence before she gathered herself to speak again. "I know nothing I say can justify what I did. Leaving you during treatment was unforgivable. I have replayed that decision in my mind every day since, hating myself more each time. Why did you do it?" The question had haunted me for months, though its power over me had gradually diminished. She stared into her untouched coffee. "I was scared. Watching you suffer, not knowing if you would survive the responsibility of being your caregiver. I convinced myself I was not strong enough." Then Jason reappeared, offering an escape from the fear and pain. He seemed like a lifeline back to normalcy, to a life without hospitals and uncertainty. "And how did that work out for you?" I could not keep the edge from my voice. Amanda's face crumpled. Everything was a lie. The glamorous life, his success, his faithfulness. He was cheating the entire time with multiple women. One is having his baby, his business is failing, and he left me with credit card debt from all those extravagant dates. I was stupid and selfish, and I got exactly what I deserved. She reached across the table, attempting to take my hand. I pulled back instinctively. "Dante, I know I have no right to ask this, but is there any chance we could try again? I made the worst mistake of my life leaving you. I never stopped loving you. Please tell me it is not too late." Looking at her, I felt the last pieces of my healing fall into place. The woman before me had once been the center of my world. I had imagined this scenario during my darkest days, fantasized about her return and what I might say. The reality was nothing like those imaginings. "Amanda, I forgive you," I said, surprising myself with the truth of those words. "Not for your benefit, but for mine. Carrying anger was only hurting me." Hope flickered in her eyes, quickly extinguished by my next words. "But we will never be together again. When you left, you taught me an invaluable lesson about who stays when things get difficult. My friends, my family, even colleagues I barely knew before my diagnosis, they showed up. They saw me at my worst and stayed anyway." I continued, my voice growing stronger. "During this past year, I learned who I am beyond cancer, beyond our relationship. I discovered strength I never knew I had. And I realized I deserve someone who sees that strength and stays through the worst times, not just the best." "I am that person now," she insisted, desperation evident in her voice. "I have changed. I have learned. Maybe you have. I hope for your sake that is true. But my life has moved forward without you, and I am not going back." I told her about Sophia, a nurse I had met during my final rounds of treatment. How we had started as friends, bonding over shared interests in music and hiking, much as Amanda and I once had. How Sophia had seen me at my weakest yet recognized the man beneath the illness. Our relationship was new, but built on a foundation of genuine understanding and respect that Amanda and I had never truly achieved. Amanda cried openly, now mascara tracking down her cheeks. "I really have lost you forever, haven't I? You chose to leave," I reminded her gently. "I am simply honoring that choice by continuing on my path without you." We parted ways shortly after her, heading toward an uncertain future, me returning to the life I had rebuilt from the ashes of betrayal and illness. Walking home, I felt lighter than I had in months, as if the final weight of our shared past had lifted from my shoulders. My cancer journey taught me that health is precious and fragile. Amanda leaving taught me that the same is true of relationships. But the aftermath of both showed me that human resilience is remarkable, that healing is possible even from the deepest wounds, and that sometimes losing what we thought we wanted opens the door to what we truly need. Today, I am not just a cancer survivor. I am someone who has learned to recognize authentic love and support. I treasure my relationship with Sophia, my renewed connections with family, and the friendships that proved unshakable in crisis. I even feel gratitude toward Amanda, whose actions ultimately led me to discover my own worth and the kind of love I truly deserve. Have you ever experienced betrayal that ultimately led to something better in your life? Share your story in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories of resilience and growth. Remember to share with someone who might need to hear that sometimes what feels like an ending is actually the beginning of something far better. Thank you for listening to my journey, and I wish you strength in whatever battles you might be fighting right now.